Hello and happiest of days to each of you folks. I hope you guys are having an absolutely amazing day today, one of the best in your entire life for you folks all up and down the block. Alrighty, so today on the day I do reviews of older RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons or war games like Battletech, that sort of thing too. Right now I'm reviewing modules by a bunch of folks. Last week I started doing a couple weeks ago the X series from BECMI. And that's for the second group of folks after B. I started with BECMI actually when I was a kid in 5th grade. I was in regular classes, and whenever me and my friend would finish, also get to class 2, would finish our classwork early. The teacher would let us go to the back and hang out, and then we put Dungeons & Dragons. He's the Dungeon Master, and I was the player. And then I moved on the first and second edition from there. Now here's what BECMI stands for. It's its own unique system. The B stands for basic. That's from 1 to 3 levels to learn the game. Its modules tend to be the early dungeon diving, that sort of thing. And then the E stands for expert, from level 4 to level about 15 or so, about the 10 levels. And that sort of a thing. And then it takes you through all of the explorations and that sort of a thing too. And we are now reviewing those, which are all about things like exploring different eras and that sort of thing too. The C stands for companion, and it is all about from the mid-teens to mid-20s. It's all about settling down, starting nations, becoming generals and leading armies in the battle, that sort of a thing too. And then I have also had the M stands for master, and it's from mid-20s to 36, the highest level you can get back to me. And then that's all about moving different planes of existence so that way our powers are downgraded, or the quest for immortality, levels of godhood, sort of demigodhood or whatever before. And then that's actually where the I comes from, once you're now a demigod. So now we're in the things. So let's get started with X5. This is the sequel to last week's X4, The Temple of the Desert Nomads by David Cook. It's the art here from this, and it's 1983 too. It is by Tim Truman. This is for the plane of Mystara. That's where it's sitting, and it's for characters of level 6 to 10. And you could definitely want to push it. Alright, so I have played this and run this as both a player and as a dungeon master, just as a heads up. Alright, so this is a sequel to last week's. This is, like I mentioned before, X4, sorry about that. So a big bad, and here's the basic setup from the first one. A big bad over the desert of sin has brought together a group of disparate, normally combative humans and humanoid tribes together. And he has started to raid, and he's going to raid and destroy a village in the beginning of X4, and so now there's going to be an army that's going to be rallied against it, and that sort of thing too. And you're going to chase them on it, so to make it an all whips to be happy, and that sort of thing. And then the Abbey is where you find out. Now, in order to make that more of a well, that's a big deal that they just destroyed a town. I actually made it a town that already existed. It was a town from X3 that we reviewed a couple of weeks ago, Curse of Xanathar, which is actually a very good town delving module, and that sort of thing too, in order to give the characters like a feel for that, and that sort of thing. So it's going to be more motivation than, hey, you just took out our town. Hey, you took out a town we were currently in, right? And that sort of thing, and to give them more motivation. All right, so by the way, now once this has happened, you head through tunnels, you get past a ladder to the moon, and then you make it to the big bad in the sacred land of Huel for your folks. So I'll place this in my plane of Hamed, which was based on Middle East, Africa, particularly North Africa, Central and South America. Central, South, and Southeast Asia. I ran this in Sinmar, which is a big giant desert, a campaign, and it was this in the first one previously were the western half of it. And then the eastern half of this giant campaign was the Pyramid Trilogy by the Hickmans, and the central city that they were using was from the city from the Day of Al Akbar. And I ran the Curse of Xanathar before this in order to set them up as a city near the city from the Day of Al Akbar. So just as a heads up. Right? So I adore, this is an epic, sweeping, fun, pulpy feel to it, up and down the blocks, from a moon bridge and tunnel exploring to a temple of death and stuff like that too. It's an incredibly strong ending. He ends it well. He started it well. Both the first one was a 10 out of 10. The second one was a 10 out of 10, and both of them together are like a 12 out of 10. Love them lots. He stuck the landing here so great. So well done. It's an absolute classic, and David Cook deserves all the kudos I could give him. And plus, I'm sure some more too, right? I'll open down the box for you folks. But there you are. Have you played this? And if so, let me know what you're, or run it like I have as a dungeon master, or even just read it a couple of times and let me know what your thoughts are. You can try to keep it spoiler free. I didn't give the big giant plot details and that sort of thing, just stuff that happens in the early parts that you would know about going into the module, right? So check it out. Let me know what your thoughts are, all about that, and then enjoy it too for you folks. Alrighty. As a reminder, like I mentioned before, I do a bunch of these reviews right now. I'm doing X. So I also did recently the B's. I did the UK series too. I'm thinking I might want to do the N or I series is next, because I didn't do the N's like in one by Dennis Knott. It's a classic and that sort of thing too. So I might do that, or go to the I's like Dave Lack. All right, and the Pyramid series. It's also at the same level. So you can check that stuff out. I think it would be fun. And then also on Wednesday, I do older video game reviews and that sort of thing too. And also do some Let's Plays too of older things. Right now I'm doing 1992's Star Control too. So on that, I just recently, last week, I did my top 10 value video games of all time. Most of those are older ones. About half of them are free. And a couple of roguelikes in there, a couple of rogues in there too, in case you're interested. Check them out for you folks. And then I think this week I'll be going to Star Control either 3 or Origins. I did Star Control 2 review, but now that I'm playing that game, and it also should have been my top 10 value video games too, because there's a free version online version of it called the Aircon Masters. So you can definitely, I might do that too. So I'm thinking about hitting that up. On Saturday, do something I call Serial Saturday, where I review older movie and TV serials. I forgot it. I just watched and reviewed Captain Midnight, and I just watched it yesterday. I'm recording this the next day for the 4 hours and 51 minutes of the Secret of Pirate of Treasure Island. See, I thought it'd be coming up next if you're interested in pirate treasures and that sort of thing too. You can check it out too, from the mid 30s. In the serials and that sort of thing. Then the other reviews a week are where older things that you're reading, in this case in the science fiction, fantasy, and horror genres too, right? All but down the block for you folks. And so those 7 older reviews a week, plus the Let's Plays too of older things that sound like your cup of tea, as well as just following this, the modules and that sort of thing. And please hit the subscribe button and do all the YouTube stuff too, and welcome to the channel. Right, and then like the subscribe button, the like button, all that stuff too, the bell icon, stuff like that too. Alrighty, as you can tell from those 7 older things, it's definitely the passion of this channel, right? It's even worse than it comes from the worst thing about new books. That's a quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Joubert, who says that the worst thing about them is that they kept us from reading the old stuff. And this is definitely some older stuff we might have forgot about it. Our passion for the new, right? That sort of thing too, right? Not that the new things are bad, but you get the idea. Also, this passion for the old things comes from my finding these older things. I appreciate it more. Finding some of these also comes from my strengths. There is a positive psychology approach to these personality types called Strengths Quest, where my number 1 strength is context. And I appreciate something more the more I know about it. So, for example, in his first edition of his Dungeon Masters, which Gary Gygax wrote an appendix, and this is all the influences. And I have gone back and read a bunch of those, and reviewed a bunch of them for the channel too. And I really appreciate that more the more I know about that. Makes sense? And so you can definitely check out stuff too if you're interested in the channel. Alrighty, for you folks, and there you go. Also, I want to, just thank you so very, very much for just taking some time out of your day and investing and watching my videos too, right? Because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions too, right? So in fact, you spent this time with me. That's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate that so very, very much. So thanks again, and have an absolutely amazing day.